Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode we had a very legitimate election that there was no time travel and no interference in. I don't know what you're talking about. It was entirely above board. Now we are fascist and we're able to do things. And with that, we kind of want to justify on Al Said just right away. So we can just take stuff from them. We need 36 more political power, of course, and we spent all of our political power on our election meddling, and that's absolutely fine. So at this moment, that's okay. We have free military factories. Oh, okay. We should definitely put that into tanks. There we go. We also have free civilian factories, and previously, we went around and queued up. This was not last episode, this is the episode before that. We went around and queued up low priority anti-air in like all of our states, and I did not do that last episode when we time traveled. So let's get that done real quick here. Just get that under control. Not here, not in our vassal states for now. We're not too worried about our vassal states for the moment. We just want to get areas like this done. Yeah, okay. I was just noticing the lack of infrastructure in some of these areas. But we can just do something kind of like this for now. And this will keep our civilian factories busy for a little while anyway. But for now, we want to be essentially sharpening our swords, right? Because nobody's going to do anything in this world except for us. We're the only ones. So that is our lot in life at this point. That is our fate. So that's okay. We're just going to get all of that done. There we go. And we need to save up some political power. Now, we do have our tank manufacturer with a trait available. Breakthrough or reliability and max speed. It's not a choice. We can get both eventually. But for now, I'm going to take the breakthrough. So that seems okay. And we've got our officer corps, but this is political power, isn't it? Hang on. No, this is army experience. Okay. We don't have much of that anyway. So for now, that's fine. We're building up our political power, and I think for the moment, continuing to drill is fine. But we want to just start cleaning up some of these little guys at this point. So we want to go after these guys who are definitely not Canada. I have no idea why they have the Canadian flag. It's wacky, very wacky. But we definitely want to push into Al Said. We want to clean up these guys. We want to get our vassals integrated. We've got a lot of things that we want to do before we want to start fighting the big boys, like Ukraine, Scandinavia, France, United States of Europe, Great Britain. We're going to come into conflict with these guys, and it's going to be before we're ready to. But the question is by how much, right? So for right now, we're working on the close air support effort, and that's fine. We're nearly through all of our generic focuses over on this side, and we're going to be going over into nationalism focus eventually. But for now, this looks good. So how much total political power do we need for this justification? 50. Okay, gotcha. So that's fine. It's going to take us 250 days to actually justify on this. If we went for Upper Egypt instead, yeah, these would pretty much all be exactly the same. They have Yemen, Somaliland? Oh, they do. I didn't notice that. So we're going to have a front here that's not going to have anyone at it. And we're going to have a front down here as well. Now, we can't get here. We can't get here right now either, but we can put in a naval base over here in Somaliland. Now, we might want to assume that there's no troops here, but to be honest, we know for a fact that there's no troops here, and this is too many troops up this way. So I'm going to grab half of this. Actually, I'm going to grab 5 of these. And we're going to assign them down over here, like that. Then we're going to grab another 5. And we're going to assign them to come down here. Now, they're not going to have a way to get there as of right now. But that will change. So that'll be fine, and we need to actually start justifying this. So that's okay. That's going to be 2% world tension. And it didn't actually go up. I mean, ultimately, that's good for us. We can do things at low world tension, and we can just kind of leave the world tension low if we don't want to fight the big boys, right? So that's fine. I think we do that. We start justification on Al Said, and we will start up a war over here soon enough. These guys are already in position here. So we're going to be attacking within a few days here. Well, I say a few. It's going to be like 240 days. So that's going to be a while yet. And the question is, do we want to keep drilling? I think for the moment, I'm going to stop exercises. We're going to let our forces replenish a little bit here. We do have a lack of valid path to target out over this way, which is not surprising because we're waiting on getting a level of naval base down over here. So that's fine. We're going to get that underway. Now, Ukrainian Abyssinia is kind of in our way. We would like to take over Ukraine eventually, but that's going to escalate into a very large war indeed. So for now, we want to clean up some of these little guys, I think, is the goal. The next question, of course, is do we want to justify on multiple at once? We now see that we have this naval base finished, so our troops are on the way down there. But do we want to justify on multiple at once? And the answer to that, I think, ultimately ends up being probably no. It does get less and less efficient, time-wise, to do it like that. So these guys are probably going to be our next target. Do we even have a way to get to them? I don't think we have a way to get to them. This is all impassable over here. This is all impassable here. Leading down this direction. I'm fairly certain that the only way we could get to them is paratrooper. Because the entire Sahara is impassable, right? Right. We just verified that. Okay, so the entire area over here is impassable, and if we want to get to these guys, paratroopers are the only way. So that, of course, means we're going to need to get some paratroopers. So we can get this nuclear effort going, and as far as paratroopers go, this is probably the only place we're going to need them. So I'm going to just create a very, very, very cheap paratrooper division. I want an empty division here. And this is just going to be... Do we not have paratroopers researched? I don't think we have them. I don't think we have them researched. Okay, we'll have to wait until advanced radio finishes. That's fine then. So we have free military factories, which means that we can toss more into tank production, which we want to do for right now. Now, tungsten is going to be a problem, but we are going to get more tungsten once we take over Al Said. We have determined that they do have about 11 tungsten there. And if we look here, we can see we're at minus 37 tungsten, also 29 steel. So that's definitely a bit of a problem. The good news is we're going to be getting additional excavation soon. So that is, of course, over in here. So we're going to have access to excavation 4, which will help, but it won't solve the problem entirely. Now, these guys haven't built up their infrastructure in all of these locations. They have in some. So that will definitely boost up our income there as well, but we're going to just want to take this over as soon as possible. We have 2 infantry divisions that can be moved to various locations. Apparently it's splitting them evenly, which I think is fine. That's okay. So we need to get paratroopers being researched if we want to get these guys taken care of. That's very, very clear at this moment. We've got about a week before we can get started on that. So advanced radio is going to be finishing up, and that is earmarked to become paratroopers. We're going to need to get paratroopers recruited. But how many do we think we're going to need? Honestly, I don't even know if they have an army. They can't do anything with it. No one can get to them other than having paratroopers. So, you know, that's awkward. So, at this point, we definitely want to go into infantry here and grab paratroopers 1. That is top priority. What else are we interested in grabbing at this moment? Well, these are about a year ahead of time, so that's not really something that we want to take right now. However, these artillery upgrades, those are about on time, so we can get started on those. Beautiful. We also have access to a new doctrine here for our Marines. Do we want movement, attack, and defense in jungle, or would we rather have the amphibious? The amphibious is the answer. 100%. I'd rather have amphibious. We're not necessarily going to be fighting in jungle with them, but we are going to be trying to make landfall with them basically every time. So that sounds ideal. And we now have another technology that we can grab. What do we want to take here? Well, honestly, I would love to grab excavation 4, but we're still waiting on construction 4. So for right now, that's not an option. We can start to grab some of these synthetic oil experiments. It's not that big of a deal, but a domestic source of rubber is probably good. So that'll be fine for now. And when is our justification going to be done on these guys with the placeholder flag? That is going to be done eventually. We have to give them a better flag. Like, look at our flag in comparison. Our flag is much better. It's, you know, got text on it, which isn't ideal, but it's still better than just a, what is this, fuchsia flag with placeholder? Magenta, I think. I think that's magenta. That would make sense. There's also a placeholder flag down here. Okay, so we can see that they do actually have troops down here. So we're probably going to lose this. We have no ability to get troops here, but we can definitely strike out from here. So the plan here is that these guys are just going to offensive line like this. That's it. They're just going to do that. These down here, they are simply going to offensive line down over here like this. Easy enough. And then these guys up here, they don't even have any capability of getting here, right? So they're just going to do that. Then we've got our tanks here. Now, our tanks are going to ideally be the spearhead here and push down to about there. But then we've got these guys down in the south, and they are going to try to meet this line like this. Now, the real question is, are the tanks even numerous enough to do this? Will they require infantry support? Probably. They will probably require infantry support, but I'm not going to order that as of right now. So that all looks good. Ooh, 1% world tension. Okay, so that justify war goal, that tension comes in as we justify it. Gotcha. So that seems absolutely fine for now. So we absolutely want to fight Al Said. We've been wanting to do this for hundreds of years. We've just never had a good opportunity to do it. So we're going in on this at this time. That'll be fantastic. We do have our political power building up, and that is noted. What do we want to do with it? Well, we could definitely run some anti-democratic raids, and I think that's not a bad thing. Let's get that going. Otherwise, there's not too much else to spend it on at this moment. We could spend it on some of this military staff, and we probably should, actually. So we'll get to that here in about 10 days. Sounds good. So when is this justification going to be done? The answer is about... It's going to be like 4 or 5 months still. So that's going to take a little while. Understood. Well, we're going to push into Al Said eventually, right? And there's our construction finishing up. So we absolutely want to take our next level of excavation because we need to get our hands on as much tungsten and steel as we possibly can. So that's going to continue to be a thing. So that seems good for now. We need more resources flowing in. So that will be absolutely wonderful. Ethiopia is another good target for us, ultimately, and we might go for them before we go for Canada over here. I should say not Canada over here. And that is... Oh, this is an infantry division from our vassal. Interesting. I'm going to put that into its own army. I don't know what we're going to do with it yet. But we'll just put that off into its own segregated army, and it can have a use eventually, I'm sure. So I just want to keep our divisions and their divisions separate because they have, like, different structures, right? So there's a new level of concentrated industry, and that's fine, but we don't actually need additional industry production. We need more resources, more than anything. I'm going to grab improved equipment conversion. This is something we did previously, and we should get that out of the way. We do, of course, need another national focus here. and that's going to be naval effort. So we're going to get going on that. Seems good. And eventually, we'll have this war ready to go. But 250 days is quite a long time. We're only about halfway done with our justification here. That's a slow justification. So that's understood. This world is incredibly stable. Far more stable than I expected it to be honest. Why is Newfoundland this color? They're a colony of Great Britain. The United States never got any actual independence. Mexico is, I believe, also British. Yeah. So Britain is very, very, very powerful, and we're going to need to build up quite a lot to be able to do that. I'd rather fight the French before we fight the British. That would be ideal. We will see if that ends up happening, though. But for now, it's entirely up to us to make things happen. So here we are. At least the world tension is actually starting to build up. We've already generated the world's most tension. That's insane, for the record. Absolutely bonkers at this moment. So the world tension will be ratcheting up as we do this. It's going to take some time. There's assembly line production done. And that's also an additional armored division, which is good. We'll get that sent over to the front, and we are going to probably start working on some of these over here, or even basic fortification. Let's get that going for now. If we want to dig in, we want to be able to do it well, right? So that'll be a good thing. But for the moment, we're primarily focused on attack, and that's ultimately where we want to be. So that's looking good. Our logistics fulfillment is only 45%, and I'm wondering why. Trains. The reason is because of trains. We should get some train production going. So we're going to need to do some civilian trains, and I want at least like 2 factories put into it. I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to turn this down to here, and then I'm going to do that. Okay, so now we've got 2 trains, but if we put this down here, we don't actually make progress. So I'm going to put this at the highest priority. We're going to start making trains, 8.45 per year currently, but that's going to go up tremendously. I don't think we need more than 2 factories working on trains. That production efficiency is going to go up by a lot. So that looks good for now. We have a research slot available, and I would love to take improved anti-air upgrade 1. So we'll get that going. I think I just did that without having a company working on that, but that's okay. We can have this unit hop over to its army. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so this war is going to be breaking out when? Well, still about 100 days is the answer. So that's absolutely fine for now. We'll just continue to press forward, but definitely we need to get some of those trains going. We need 95 total trains, and we've only got 42 in stockpile. So that means that we have, at our current production, like a 4-year deficit. Okay, this is a lot better now. 1.18 per month, and that's going to continue to improve. I don't believe we need additional factories on trains. I think this is good enough. So that looks fine for now. And yeah, 1.28 per month. We're now making over 12 per year. This should be more than good enough. So that'll be fine. This infantry division needs to be sent over to its destination. So that looks fine. Yeah, Ethiopia is definitely looking like a juicy target here. If we were to justify 370 days, I think we're better off to wait until this justification is finished and then start it. Because that'll shave off 120 days. So that seems good. And we're going to need to get a very basic paratrooper division going once we get that done in order to attack Ahagar. And I'm thinking that that's just going to be like 4 units of paratroopers, and that's it. Probably not even anything else. So we're just going to get this sorted in. That was actually a tank unit that I sent that to. We don't want to send that to the tank unit. So that'll be fine for now. This is an infantry division here. We almost have this army full. So that's noted. Our naval effort has finished, and we can go with flexible navy or large navy. And we're going to go for flexible navy for now. That seems okay. We have a marine doctrine that we can do here, and that's absolutely something that we'll grab. Perfect. And we now have our artillery manufacturer. We can choose any of these: piercing and hard attack, anti-air attack, or hard attack and breakthrough. 100% hard attack compared to 5% hard attack. But that's for towed anti-tank. This is only for artillery and rocket artillery. I'm still very tempted to go for that. So we'll do that for now. That seems good. What else do we have here? This is our tank manufacturer. So we can now grab the improved tracks. We'll definitely do so. And then this is our infantry equipment manufacturer. We can grab anti-vehicle landmines, which we're delighted to do. And that seems good. Okay, cool. So we're going to be attacking Al Said just as soon as we can. It's going to be another 70 days. We've managed to build up world tension to 1.6%. That is going to reach 2%, and in fact, it just did. I wonder if that's rounded, because it's actually supposed to only be 1.6, or perhaps there was just a little bit left over from some previous actions. That's a possibility. But this world tension is going to continue to ratchet up, and that is not necessarily a good thing for us. We want to take over quite a lot of these little countries before that happens, but we want to be cautious, because as the world tension ratchets up, we know what happens. Factions form, and the world war starts. That's the point of this game. That's just how it works. So we have to keep that in mind, and our manpower is absolutely going to be a concern going forward. So what we're going to find out from this war, one of the big things that I want to figure out is that coring mechanic that was in our previous Hoi series. Is that exclusive to the East India Company, or can we do that too? That'll be interesting to find out. Now, as of right now, we can't. And we do have states that are not fully cored. So that is not a great sign for that, but we'll figure it out for sure here quite soon. So there's another tank unit, good to go. How are we doing on our tanks anyway? Okay. So we're currently producing about 17 tanks a day. And we still need more tanks for upgrades. We need more artillery for upgrades. We need more... Why do we have 2 lines of artillery going here? Let's get rid of that one. Okay, that will help our tungsten, in theory. So that's good. We do need more steel, of course, and we still need more tungsten than what we have here. So tungsten is going to be a very, very important thing for us to get. Luckily for us, Al Said has some, and that will help, but it won't solve our problem. We're going to need steel as well. More tungsten out in Ethiopia. That seems good. That seems very good. So I have free civilian factories. This, of course, means that we're finishing up on constructing all of these anti-airs. So that's understood. We could start fortifying, or we could build more factories, but we don't have resources for those factories. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start building in our vassal states at this point. So we can do some of these infrastructure constructions. That'll be fine. What do we got up over here? Yeah, we can definitely build here, 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 like that. So that'll be something, anyway. And we can get going on production efficiency gain, and cap is pretty good. This is basically the same thing for both of these. Are these identical? They are, but they're for different things. Towed artillery, towed anti-tank. This is towed artillery only. But this is towed anti-tank, towed anti-air, and towed artillery, and towed rocket artillery. So this one is more flexible, but this one is more focused. Gotcha. So that's absolutely fine, but it is about time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to launch our very first war in this series. That's kind of sad. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge Eskiel, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.